And now for the official Turkish perspective on the fight in Syria and relations with the U.S., I'm joined by Serdar Kılıç. He is Turkey's ambassador to the United States. Mr. Ambassador, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Judy, for having me here and providing me with the opportunity to enlighten your viewers with regard to the ongoing operation in northwest Syria.
Why is your government so concerned, so worried, so against these YPG fighters who have helped the United States defeat ISIS in Syria?
Well, if you can bear with me a moment, first of all, I would like to set a perspective in that regard. You have suffered as a result of terrorist attacks. I know how vivid the bitter memories of 9/11 in the hearts and minds of the American people. We did not suffer as many on a single attack on a single day, 3,000 or so. But during the last 3 decades, we have lost 40,000 Turkish citizens as a result of attacks conducted by PKK. And how could they sustain those attacks during the last 3 decades? Because there was a lack of authority and lack of security in northern Iraq. And they used that enclave as a safe haven to conduct their attacks on Turkish territory, and they killed 40,000 innocent Turkish civilians, men, women, children, and including some numbers of Turkish security officers.
But if I may interrupt,
yes.
That is inside Turkey. I'm asking about the YPG who are across the border
yes.
in Syria.
Well, actually, PKK was in Iraqi territories in northern Iraq, and they were using that area to stage their attacks, cross the border, and conduct attacks in Turkish territory. Same thing was happening in northern Syria. In 2012, the Syrian regime, without putting a fight, they left the area to YPG PYD, and they control the area, Afrin region, since then. And they have changed the demographics. They have expelled Sunni Arabs, Turkomans, and anyone that are against the ideology of YPG PYD. And they started conducting attacks against Turkish territory, Turkish civilians. They targeted Turkish civilians. Last year alone, they have conducted 700 attacks. Scores of people died. Not only to Turkey, they also attacked the Operation Euphrates Shield area within Syria itself. So, we will not let that kind of an eventuality that we have faced for 3 decades in northern Iraq to take place in northern Syria as well. And it was an absolute requirement for us to take action in that regard.
I hear what you're saying. At the same time, the U.S. is saying, these are fighters who have helped us defeat ISIS. You understand why defeating ISIS is such a priority for the United States?
Well, Judy, that's the problem. Daesh or ISIS is the symptom. The United States is not dealing with the illness itself. It's just fighting with the symptom. And as long as we use appropriate measures, tactics, and strategies, we are going to be faced with a similar threat in the future in Syria. YPG PYD is a direct offshoot of PKK. Even the U.S. authorities
You're saying they're connected to the Kurdish extremists?
Not connected. They are under direct control of PKK. Their commanders are coming from Kandil Mountains, the basis of PKK in northern Iraq. And even during the Senate hearing in April 2016, you will record that Senator Graham asked a direct question to then Secretary of Defense Ashton Carter, whether they knew there is a direct linkage between YPG PYD, and he acknowledged that.
Your government has made all of these arguments. Your president has made these arguments to the U.S. government.
Again, yes.
It has chosen to disagree for the time being.
Yes.
It is saying we need to continue this fight in northwest Syria. We are not going to we're not going to let you remove the YPG. We're going to do everything we can. Is your government prepared to pursue this fight, even if it means American troops may be killed in the process?
Well, Judy, first of all, if we are going to conduct a successful fight against terrorism, and if at the end of the day we would like to prevail, then we should use correct strategies. We should be very careful in terms of choosing our partners on the ground. You cannot fight successfully with a terrorist organization by making use of another terrorist organization. This is the mistake that the American administration is doing for the time being in Syria. YPG PYD is a terrorist organization. So, in fact, they say that Raqqa is liberated by YPG PYD, right? Actually, the terrorist organization in Raqqa have been substituted. Now Daesh is out of Raqqa, but YPG PYD is in. And these are not our words. Just look at the reports of humanitarian organizations. Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International, they are enumerating all the efforts of ethnic cleansing, forceful recruitment of children, and so on and so forth. They are running counter to each and every principle that the United States stands for. But yet, the United States opts for working with YPG, PYD, and even in your intro, you have stated them as a partner of United States.
With such a fundamental disagreement here, how much damage has been done? How much is the U.S. Turkey relationship weakened by this?
Well, I mean, I believe that the U.S. public opinion is among the best to understand how the Turkish public opinion feels after their losses. We have lost 40,000 people. So you should understand us. Of course, it has a detrimental effect on the feelings of the Turkish public opinion. We want to fight against terrorism. We have been part and parcel of the international coalition since its inception, but we would like to fight terrorists with the appropriate strategies. You have a NATO, I mean, you have an ally that has the second largest army in NATO. The United States could have, of course, the United States could have opted for working with Turkey to conduct a successful fight against Daesh.
Many Americans are looking at this and looking at what the Trump administration position is, and they're still asking, is Turkey prepared to see U.S. soldiers die in this fight where your government is going after them?
Well, Judy, I mean, we are long-term allies, and I'm confident that we are not going to come to that point. But in order to ensure that, I think the United States should take certain actions. They should terminate their support to a terrorist organization, which an ally time and again claims that terrorist organization constitutes an existential threat for our security and stability. So they should put an end to their support. They should cease providing them weapons and ammunition.
Have you asked them to do this?
Of course. And they should collect the weapons that they have given already. I mean, as of yesterday, there have been rockets sent to Turkey, a hospital, a restaurant, a house, and they have killed and wounded scores of people. And most of those weapons, I'm confident, that were provided by the United States. How can you make sure that the weapons that you have given to YPG, PYD to fight against Daesh are not going to be to end up used against Turkish assets, Turkish civilians, and Turkish security forces? Well, I mean, we have made those points time and again. And they are cognizant that actually there is no difference between YPG, PYD, and PKK. So, I mean, yes.
I was just going to say it is an enormously important subject for the United States, for your country.
Yes.
I know we are going to continue to watch it very closely.
Well, I mean,
Ambassador.
we are strong allies. We need each other. And I hope that we are going to prevail at the end of the day.
Ambassador Kılıç, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, Judy.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.